On today's show, we interview Mayor Craig Thurmond. As the mayor of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, he's the mayor of one of the safest cities to live in America, and one of the fastest growing cities in America. But what would make this man be willing to work for the low, low price of free?
I had an adopted daughter who was shot in the head, and that's how I first got involved in city government. I went and lobbied for a bill over in Oklahoma City that we don't have an attempted murder law in Oklahoma, still don't. And I went and lobbied for a bill that said that if you discharge a firearm commission a felony, you get 10 years mandatory. Her shooter was charged with assault with a dangerous weapon, and he got 2 years in prison for that.
2 years.
2 years. And so that's a felony. You assault someone, that's a felony. You do an armed robbery, that's a felony. So that's when I really thought that we need to make a difference. We need to really focus on public safety, and we really have focused on public safety. So that's how I got involved. I knew I could make a difference because I got a law change that you really can fight City Hall. You really can get something done. So you just have to have that passion to be able to make a difference, and I did have that, and we were able to do it.
On today's show, the founder of the Hub Gym, Luke Owens, shares how Mayor Thurmond helped to save his business by revitalizing downtown. And we share how Mayor Craig Thurmond is helping to save lives as a result of the laws that he helped to pass. To make an impact, you and I must be the change that we want to see. And this man, Mayor Craig Thurmond, is doing just that.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, and yes. I am super excited about today's show. Mayor Craig, how are you, sir?
I'm great.
Hey, what have you been doing this week? Since I saw you last week, you've been busy. You're always busy doing something for the good people of Broken Arrow. I understand you do it all for the low, low price of free $99. Is this correct?
Yes, free.
This just in, for the low, low price of free. A good deal, by the way.
Yes.
What have you been doing in the last week here? What kind of things are you working on for Broken Arrow that you can talk about?
Well, we're working on a lot of different things right now, and it's kind of hard to say everything we've done last week. We have a council meeting coming up tomorrow night, so we'll start dealing with whatever's on the council agenda for tomorrow. We've worked a lot on different projects throughout we're constantly working on things, and the city staff does all the work. Really, they do so many different things in the community, and we're gonna actually have a ribbon cutting for 37th Street, which is a lot of people know is 209th. It's supposed to be last week, but it rained, so we didn't have it. So we're going to have it towards the end of February.
Incredible. Okay, well, on today's show, we have got Luke Owens. He is the owner of the Hub Gym, which is in the Rose District, I believe. And I wanted to have Luke on the show because you've been, Mayor Craig, how long have you been in office as the mayor of Broken Arrow?
I've been the mayor for 8 years.
8 years. And a lot has changed in those 8 years. And I am heavily biased in your favor. Hopefully you are biased in your favor as well. But a lot of people in Broken Arrow don't really know objectively how much things have changed over these past 8 years. And so I thought, let's have a guy hop on the show who's actually lived right in the heart of the Rose District, whose his business is located right there, so that he could share how Broken Arrow used to look 8 years ago. So Luke Owens, welcome onto the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Clay. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, the Hub Gym. It's thehubgym.com, I believe, thehubgym.com. For people out there that are not familiar with the Hub Gym, where is it located, and what's it like inside?
So we are located in the what used to be the Co-op building, and so we're at the north end of Main Street, and we're about 7,000 square feet. A lot of times people come in and they're surprised by kind of the size of the place, but anyway, we inhabit the old Farmers Co-op building.
So you've been in that building for how long now?
We bought the building, my father-in-law bought the building in 2009. We renovated and moved in September of 2011.
September of 2011. How is Broken Arrow different now in 2020 than how it was in 2011? 2011. I mean, how is the street different? What kind of a vibe? What kind of energy? Just describe the difference between Broken Arrow in 2011 versus Broken Arrow in 2020.
So initially, when I was telling people we were moving onto Main Street in Broken Arrow, they said, why would you move onto the ghost town where the tumbleweeds still roll down the street? So there was a lot of doubt about the validity of moving into that area. But since doing that, I mean, it's great, right? So we had approximately 170 or so members at that time, and we're pushing 1,500 members now, and the community's really responded well.
And so, Mayor Craig, talk to us. What was your perspective of Broken Arrow? If you can remember, Broken Arrow, 2011, downtown, the Rose District area. What did that look like?
Well, as I say a lot, if your car was down there on Saturday night, it was because it was broke down. I mean, there was nothing going on. There was no, all the businesses were closed. There was nothing happening in Broken Arrow in 2011 on Main Street.
So I want to ask you, Mayor Craig, what are some of the things that you have worked with other people to, what sort of agenda have you pushed forward that has allowed Broken Arrow to be revitalized?
Well, I think, as I said before, it started with Bass Pro in 2005. When we got that, we first started getting our economy rolling, and then the TIF district, which we did, I can't remember the date now. I think it was around 2011 when we did that TIF, and we had flight safety, which is over on Lynn Lane, was part of that TIF. And then we also had the expansion of Main Street. And now we've spent around $23 million of our money on Main Street to try and, with the farmers market and different things that we've done, to create the vibe that we have on Main Street, which is really pretty cool. I mean, I love the speakers that we have, and I love the way we've done all the planning. And because of the turn of the century, we were called, turn of the 20th century, we were called the City of Roses and Natural Springs. So that's where we came up with the name for Rose District, and it's really been something very special what we've done there.
Luke, you're a community guy.
Yeah.
You're the kind of guy that you do events for your members all the time. You like meeting all the members. You like shaking their hands. I would say you're a connector. Would you agree with this?
That is correct.
Talk to us about, share with the listeners out there, what would it be like? What would your gym be like if the Rose District and the walkable entertainment and dining and retail was not a thing?
So if the Rose District had stayed like it was in 2011, we would not still be in business, period, right? Because there was not much traffic, like you were saying. If your car was on that road for any length of time, it's because it was broken down. So with the improvements, I mean, that is the vitality of our business, period. I mean,
so you're saying that your business would not be in business if downtown Broken Arrow hadn't been revitalized?
Absolutely.
Mayor Craig, I know that you're not going to hop on here and take credit for the whole thing because it's a team of people working together.
It is.
But what was your role in revitalizing Broken Arrow? Did you, high five people? Did you cast the vision? Did you do nothing? I mean, what did you do or not do to help create the reality that, frankly, has allowed the Hub Gym to create a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunities right here in Broken Arrow?
Well, I do think it's a team approach, but we all have worked really hard to try and get everything to happen. We started in 2004 with Downtown Vision, and then that kind of morphed into what we have as the Rose District. So it's been a focus for many years, and I've been involved in it from the beginning, served when they first had the committee on 2004, along with what's happened now. And I really supported a lot and reach out a lot to different people about what we're doing. Even nationally, we've gotten some national awards for what we've done with the Rose District. So it's been pretty exciting what we've done.
So I'm not trying to paint you into a corner, but what kind of awards have you won? I mean, are awards for downtown or for city development?
Yes, USA Today in 2018 named us the most charming, one of the 50 most charming main streets in the United States. In 2018, we also got the Livability Award for the most livable city from the U.S. Conference of Mayors. We've gotten a lot of other awards like that.
I hate to one-up you, but last year, my mom, we have two kids. My mom has two kids. And last year, during Christmas, she presented me with her second best son award. And I was honored and humbled. And anyway, so Luke, I want to ask you here, because you are right in the thick of things. And if you were talking to somebody out there who's thinking about getting out there and voting for the continuing development of this vision for downtown Broken Arrow. Or thinking about maybe just not voting at all. I mean, maybe just not showing up. Maybe just, going out to the Warren Theater, getting something to eat. Maybe going out to Bass Pro Shop, getting something to eat. Maybe just sleeping in. Maybe going on Netflix. Why do you think it's important that we keep this vision going the way it's going? Or maybe do you think that the vision should stop going and maybe we should go back to the tumbleweeds vibe?
Well, being a business owner in the Rose District, I obviously have some vested interest of that continuing to go.
Yeah.
But I think just for vitality of our city, the Rose District is that entertainment center. I mean, that's where things happen. So if that were to stop, I think the city would notice that.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to now open up the mics to ask rude questions of Mayor Craig Thurmond because nobody wants to hear. I mean, people want to hear the rude questions. You know what I mean? No one wants to hear softball questions. So, Luke, and you're not a big government guy. You're a business owner. You are. I'd call you a mindful person,
right.
A mindful and artful human. Would you agree with this?
Right.
Okay. And then Charles Kolaw, you don't live in Broken Arrow. You live in Owasso.
It makes me want to come here. I mean, it's just like awesome.
But you and I have eaten at the Rib Crib.
We have
in the Rose District, or right on the edge of the Rose District.
Destroyed
there,
some meat there.
We did, and when I say we, you.
Well,
I mean, you had.
You came in a great second place.
Honestly, share with the listeners how much meat did you order?
I don't know, several pounds, but it was awesome.
Are you being serious?
I think so.
I think you had probably 2. Did you have 2 pounds or 3? You remember?
I always order 2 pounds. And I can always I can eat more.
Yeah.
But I'm getting older.
What does that do?
Fast approaching 40.
What does that? You're a fitness guy. What does that do to the human body when you sit down and have just 2 pounds of meat? What does that do to you?
It makes me happy.
Yeah.
My serotonin and dopamine in my brain go yay.
Hey Charles, I am almost cleared to re-engage my fitness journey.
Oh,
I would love for you to be a part of that.
Oh, I love it. Yes,
I'm serious.
I'd love it.
I'm free in the fall. I get to go back.
Jam it out.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right. So, Charles, what questions would you have for Mayor Craig about, being the mayor, what it involves, his vision for the future, anything you want to ask at all? And then no matter what you ask, Luke, you get to one-up him next.
Oh.
So it's back and forth.
Okay.
Until we have a winner.
Okay. I'm not super political on knowing the best questions, so I'm just going to shoot them out. So,
yep, shoot them out.
Okay. What are your top 2 mayorly activities?
Oh.
Well, I think the first one is running the city council. I'm the chairman of the city council, so I run that meeting. That's probably the number one activity that we do. And I think the number 2 thing that I do as the mayor is, being a person that goes out and represents the city and promotes our city, whether it's here or whether we go to New York City and try to get site selectors to move businesses here. Whatever we do, I'm the one that tries to promote the city the most.
Does that satisfy you, or do you feel like you want to put him against the
ropes
ropes more?
We got off the last podcast, and he talked about all these different mayors he'd been connecting with, like in Arlington, Texas, and he's just picking people's brains about great things that he could do in his place. So I thought it was pretty good.
Okay, I'm gonna give him a mega point here. Okay, I'm gonna give him a mega point. Okay, now Luke, here we go. You can ask the mayor anything, and a lot of times, guys like you and I, we're not allowed to even be in the same room with mayors. So this is an exciting time for you. So now you're in the same room with the man, the myth, the legend, Mayor Craig Thurmond, and he's not getting paid to answer your questions, okay? He works for free. So what questions would you have for Mayor Craig?
So again, because it's applicable to my business, it is a wonder, what are the plans for expanding the Rose District, which used to be the Art and Entertainment District, further north would include our facility and that.
Well, it's still considered the Arts and Entertainment District, so that's still what it's called. But the right now, the only plan we have is we're doing the one block farther north. Mm-hmm. We don't really have any plans to go farther north. If something opens up, then there might be the opportunity. It costs us $1.5 million a block to do a block the way when we put utilities in there and we put the planters and we redo the streets and add the sound system and sprinkler systems. So it costs $1.5 million a block. So to come down to your facility is another couple blocks, really, from where we're at for the last block that we're working on right now.
Got it. Awesome.
I think you got shut down.
Yeah, a little bit, and that's that's sort of been the response.
Okay, you got shut down.
That's okay.
That's why we do this show. That's
awesome.
This is we're asking the people at Broken Arrow are asking the tough questions here. Now I would like to one up everybody here.
Cool.
Mayor Craig, how involved are you in the daily operations of Atwoods?
Not at all. Not
Not at all.
Not at all.
Do you talk to them? Do you encourage them? I love that place.
I
Make
like,
it bigger.
I like it a lot. I spend money there, but I don't.
You go there
have-
too?
Yes, I do.
What do you buy?
I buy all kinds of different things there. Really, one of my favorite places to buy wood to smoke.
Pinion wood?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
really?
they have different types of wood. They have
What kind of wood do you burn?
apple wood and pecan and cherry and all the different types.
What's your
of
favorite
woods.
kind of wood to
Well, it
burn?
depends on what I'm smoking.
Well, let's talk about the most recent time you were out there smoking wood.
Well,
What was
yesterday I smoked fish and I
Really?
use cherry wood on it.
Oh.
So it just depends on what you're smoking.
How often do you smoke meat?
Probably Charles would like it. Probably
Oh yeah.
probably once a month or so. Except summertime, a couple times during summer.
What kind of smoker do you have?
I had a charcoal smoker. I used it a lot, but now I use a gas smoker, so I can turn the gas on my house and just
Yes.
it's really easy to do and doesn't take much to smoke.
Is this an all-day event for you when you smoke? Is this a kind of a thing you do where it requires a lot of accoutrements, a lot of planning, a lot of time?
If I'm doing brisket, it does take all day. When you do a brisket, it takes you gotta do all day. But fish is only really a couple hours, and chicken's a couple hours. So there's a lot of things you can do that instead of grilling, you can just smoke. So
who schooled you in the dark arts of smoking meat? Was it your father? Was it a neighbor? Was it an uncle?
no, I just read books on it, and
You learned the Chuck Norris method. You taught yourself.
yes.
Nice. Okay, Charles Cola. Now you get to ask any. That was a bad question by me, by the way. Your question was better. Yours was better. Charles, what is your next question for the Mayor Craig Thurmond?
Okay. Dog or cat?
Dog. I don't like cats at all.
Okay. Would you say you're more visionary or integrator?
That's really a tough one because I do a lot of integrating things, getting things to happen, and but I do.
You're trying to
like
trick
have a
him.
Vision, yes.
Charles's other question was going to be, do you like kids or elderly people? That's what he was trying to do.
No, I just
Oh,
you got to do both. I think
That's
You gotta-
impressive. Trying to trap the mayor. I'll give you a mega point. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Luke, again, you're going to be in this area for a long time. You guys have bought the building you're in. Obviously, you have some faith in the development of this area, but you still probably have questions, concerns, maybe even grievances. Feel free to air your grievances or ask a tough question, whatever you want to ask.
Sure. So I've learned this from you, Clay. So there was a statement made maybe by Z at one point where, I was kind of struggling to make some money, right? And he said, well, are you running a charity? And I said, no. And he said, well, stop running your business like one then, right? And I didn't know this, but you do the job for free of being a mayor for Broken Arrow. And I know other politicians do the job for free also. Mm-hmm. How is that possible?
Well, it's just wanting to give back to the community is why you do it.
Right.
And luckily, I have a small business where I manage land development projects, and so I'm able to take some time away from that business and give it to the city. And that's one thing I say often is that I have the opportunity to serve the community. Not many people get in that position where you can make a difference in people's lives, and I've got that opportunity. So I think it's something as a servant you should do. And so it's not people think there's something hidden behind that, but there's not. It's just opportunity that I have that a lot of people never get to serve our community.
Awesome. And the reason I asked that question is because I'm sort of getting into that position of my life, right? Because I am a servant at heart, and I just want to affect people, right? But I've had to build the foundation of my business.
Are you running for mayor?
Negative.
Okay.
I never.
Well, that'd be an awkward way to announce.
No. But so I wanted to know how that was done for you. So thank you.
Okay. Now, I have more questions for you, sir. You work for free.
Yes.
Are you a married man?
Yes.
Do you have kids?
Yes.
Does your wife know that you work for free as mayor?
Yes, she reminds me a lot that I work for free.
Okay, see, now we're hitting on some core issues here.
Yes.
I have found that for me, with my companies, there was a long time where I worked very hard and made very little money. It was a neat little chart, like a nice graph, a lot of money being spent, a lot of time, very little income coming in. And then over time, I started to earn more. You get time freedom, financial freedom if you stay at it long enough. But my wife is very concerned about any time that I work for free. And I've done junior achievement. I think I worked at junior achievement for free for something stupid like 7 hours a week for a Broken Arrow High School for years. And then she was like, listen here. We have kids that you can teach that are called your own. So I just want to ask you, how have you gotten permission from the lady? She's a smart lady, we've heard. How does this work out? I mean, the work-life balance, is she into it too? Is she involved with this? Just to tell us about the behind-the-scenes look as much as you can share.
Well, quite often she does remind me that I could make more money if I wasn't on the council. But also when I have meetings, will say, was that a work meeting or was that a city meeting? As far as when I talk about my day, the future as I plan my days out throughout the week. So, but she knows that it's important to me, so she really embraces and supports me what I do as far as that. She, of course, it'd be nice if we could, have more work. But I think this is important. She knows how important it is to me, so she supports me in it.
Now, what we're going to do right now is we're going to kick Charles off the show. The ratings are going to go down, but we're going to kick Charles off here. We're going to bring on his incredible wife, because she's a female entrepreneur business person. Okay, and then we've got another guest we want to bring on here in just a moment. So, Luke, we have a chance for you to ask as many questions as you want to the mayor here. And again, the reason why this is so important is somebody out there is watching this right now, listening right now on Spotify or YouTube or Facebook, and they've never, ever had a chance to sit down with their mayor. They've never sat down with their mayor. They don't know who their mayor. They know the name. They know of the title, but they don't realize how much a mayor can really impact their day-to-day life. Luke, what other question would you have for Mayor Craig Thurmond here on today's show?
How much focus or intention is spent on the businesses directly in the Rose District, their health in general? What is done to consider those things?
Well, I think a lot more is being done. We started last year a department called TED. It's our Tourism and Economic Development Department, and a lot of their focus is they've got 4 employees now, and what they do is they focus on a lot on the Rose District along with other businesses, but their main focus is on the Rose District. We have one employee, Kayla Comer. Her whole job is to deal with the Rose District. So she's starting to have regular meetings. In fact, they're having one, I think, around the 12th. It's next week.
Her whole job?
Her whole job. That's all she does.
Really?
At Water's Edge Winery, where they're going to have a luncheon, and they're bringing someone in to help businesses with different ideas and different things. So there's a lot of things the city does to try and get to help the businesses, because it's important that survives. As the Rose District, as everyone knows, it really took off, and it really was great, but then it kind of had a plateau, and now we need to take off again. So as we do more and more, and I think as the Milestone project opens, which is going to have 95 residential, a 4-story building that they're building, 95 residential units and 30,000 in retail, it's going to bring more and more people into the Rose District, and that, we need to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure those businesses are successful.
Is her official title the ruler of the Rose?
No, I think I'm not sure what her official title is, but I know that's what her job is.
Okay. Now, Amber, we want to get you on here, the mic, because Amber, again, she brings the perspective of she's a mom. And this is how it works if you're a guy. If you're out there and you disagree with me, that's okay. I respect your ability to be wrong, but this is how it works. Women go to work, and they somehow can think about the job while also 100% of the time thinking about their kids. They're somehow always thinking about their kids and their job. And as a guy, I'll go to work, and I'll forget I even have kids. I have 5 of them. And then I come home and I'm like, who are you guys? And then they go, where are your kids? I go, oh, yes, because I forgot. I had like one or the other, So as a mom, as business owner, you've got a lot on your plate there. Amber, you guys live in Owasso. Mm-hmm. And Owasso has been a city that's been growing, and it's a good economy. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure you've seen economies in local cities where the economy's not so good, where the regulations are bad. And so you have the benefit of living in a great economy, just like we do have here in Broken Arrow. But what questions would you have for Mayor Craig? Any questions at all from a perspective of a business owner, as a mom, maybe related to schools, related to taxes, just anything you want to ask? There's nothing you could possibly ask that is off the reservation.
So, Mayor, sell me on Broken Arrow. If I was a mom researching a city to move to, or as a young family, why would I want to choose Broken Arrow?
Well, I think the very first thing is that we are one of the safest cities in the state of Oklahoma. So the public safety aspect is really huge. when you think about that you're going to be safe. We have a lot of businesses that move here and move from other communities where they're not as safe because it is a safer place for their business, and we're more proactive and less reactive to crime. So that's helped a lot. Of course, for a family, the schools are real important, although the school district is definitely separate from us. We do partner a lot with the schools and work a lot with the schools, but we have some of the best schools in the state also. So that's really important. And the quality of life issue. We have 39 getting ready to start our 40th park in our community. There's all different kind of things to do. We try to do a lot of different things, from events down in the Rose District that you can bring your family. Our National Night Out is always big with kids, and they come and instead of having to go door to door trick or treat, we give out all these businesses give out candy along with a lot of the people that are there. So that's a big deal but just all the different events and the things that we have at our events park that we have that's out by NSU. It's really been a huge deal too. So a lot of different family things to do here.
I have been told by our conference attendees, we have people that come to our conferences from all over the world. A lot of people from California, a lot of them from New York, Florida, Canada, and they're constantly, they marvel at the cost of living. Mm-hmm. And it starts when they'll say, Clay, where's a good place to eat at the conference? And these are people from Canada, and I'll say, well, Utica's a nice place to go. It's in Midtown Tulsa. If you want a little bit less of a line and a little bit more of a family environment, you should check out downtown Broken Arrow. And they'll get in an Uber and they check it out. And they'll come back the next day to the conference and go, the cost of food was like half of what I spend in San Diego. What does a house cost here? Some of them will even look it up here. Can you speak to Mayor Craig, relatively speaking, because you benchmark with other mayors all around the country. Is Broken Arrow one of the most affordable places to raise a family in America currently? Is it truly that affordable?
It is, and we actually got Wallet Hub named us last year the best place for first-time homebuyers in the country.
Really?
And that's out of every city in the whole United States. We're the best. So that's a lot of different things. They look at schools, they look at cost of housing, they look at cost of living. So they looked at a lot of things to come up with that criteria. So just that alone. But we do have very affordable housing in Broken Arrow, and we have a high-quality place for people to live.
Luke, I want to create an opportunity for you to ask another question. But before I allow you to ask another question, I want to ask one of you. Your business is downtown Broken Arrow. Correct. Is it truly safe? I mean, is it actually like, do you feel like you're watching an episode of Boys in the Hood every day when you go to work? Is it safe? Is it not safe? What's it like? You actually have a business in downtown Broken Arrow. Do you feel safe?
Well, one of the things that we hear from our clients, primarily the female client base, is that they never feel unsafe, ever. And we are a 24-hour facility, right? So there are people that come all hours of the day and night. And we have not had any incidents that I would say would cause a person to feel unsafe.
So you would agree that it's safe?
Absolutely.
Cost of living, would you agree it's a pretty affordable place to be?
Well, I owned property on the east side of Commercial, and we bought basically 2 lots, and I now live in Midtown Tulsa.
Ooh, a yuppie. You're a yuppie.
I couldn't have bought half of a lot for that amount. So, yeah, absolutely.
Midtown Tulsa, you're saying, is about twice as much?
At least.
Were you aware of the cost of the house when you bought it?
In Broken Arrow or in Tulsa?
In Midtown?
Well, that was not even for consideration because my wife wanted to live there. So
you're a good man.
It didn't really matter.
You're a good man. I just wasn't sure if you were tricked into it somehow.
Well, probably, but that's okay.
Okay. We won't go there. I apologize. This just in.
I mean, 3 blocks from the gym or 18 miles, I would have picked 3 blocks.
This just in from our home office. Happy wife, happy life.
That's
this
right.
just in. Underscore that, outline that. Luke, what's your final question for Mayor Craig Thurmond? And again, there's no out of bounds. There's nothing weird. The reason why we're doing this is because so many of you live in Broken Arrow. You're seeing this right now on Facebook. You're seeing this on YouTube. And you've never had a chance to ask your mayor anything. So if you would like to have the mayor answer a question, you can email us today to info@thrivetimeshow.com, info@thrivetimeshow.com. That's info@thrivetimeshow.com. And we'll put the questions in the upcoming shows. So any questions you have. But Luke, what question would you have there that you think maybe you want to know the answer to, or maybe the good citizens of Broken Arrow would like to know?
I think he's answered most of my specific questions.
So you're not going to ask the really dirty one you were thinking about, the one that we talked about you not asking?
I don't usually have dirty thoughts, but We do host our own events throughout the summer in our parking lot at the Hub Gym. And, quite honestly, there was a bit of pushback for us doing that. And I also had experiences originating the Shamrock, the Rose District, and other events that were happening down on Main Street.
Now you're going to the dirty question I was talking about.
Here we go. It could be.
Here we go. Off the rails.
And just because of how that sort of was treated after the success of those events were realized, I am not a part of those anymore. And we're hosting them in our own parking lot, which has also been met with a little bit of resistance.
And real quick, I'm not asking for a specific person, but who or what is not been a fan of your rebel rousing toga events?
I'm not really sure what the name of the person or the whatever, but maybe the planning. I don't know.
Would it be a planning? People would be planning
without saying the person's name. I don't really know.
You guys can maybe talk off air about that. But what kind of? I mean, have people showed up and picketed, or what's going on?
Well, we had a few events going on in the parking lot where yes, they did come down and shut them down completely after being notified that they were going to happen.
So, and who, when you say they shut it down, what organization shut it down? Do you know?
Again, I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I would,
Mayor, what kind of thing would shut it down? Would it be like a noise violation? Would it be like
there's an event committee. Everyone has to have a permit for an event in the city. Any kind of event, even on private property, is supposed to have a permit. And so that goes through. They talk about, they have an event planning committee, and they have a checklist that you go through.
Is that a city thing?
Yes, where you need police protection or fire protection or what you need. Of course, there's even more if you have to close the street. The city council has to.
How many people constitutes an event? Is it like 50 people? Because I feel like I have to run it by my boss, my committee, to have 4 or more people over. What's the rule for Broken Arrow? Is it 50 people? Or
I'm not sure what the rule is, but if it's an event that you hold, that you advertise, it's usually there's usually some type of permit that's required.
So for a guy like Luke, if he's having a big event coming up, a big customer celebration event, what's the process that he or people out there listening would need to go through? The proper channels.
You just reach out to the event committee. I think you're supposed to let them know 60 days or so in advance when you're going to have that, and then they process all the paperwork, and then they have meetings. They talk about it, and the committee talks about it.
Why do you have to have a committee? Why can't everybody just throw their own festival?
Well, they really want to have some control over what's going on, and so that's in our community.
Would it be possible to get the approval for multiple events that basically they're the same event just in successive months throughout a time of year? Would that be an option, do you think?
I think that should be possible.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm really not involved in that. The assistant city manager oversees that committee, and so he can probably help you with that.
Awesome. I have a true story before we introduce our next guest, and we'll allow time here to kind of switch the mic. The passing of the mic must occur here in just a moment here, so we'll allow some time for you guys to switch up the microphones there to get Zach on the mic here. But in Oregon right now, this true. I cannot make these things up. In Oregon, this is a true story. In Oregon, Portland, Oregon, it is home of the world's largest nude bicycle ride. Do you know about this, Mayor Craig? Do you know about this?
I've seen something on that, yes.
Were you talking to the mayor? Is that a best practice? Is that where we're going with the city?
No. And that mayor's doesn't really speak to me. He's a little he's a little bit farther to the left than I am.
Our radio show got picked up in Portland, and I'm making small talk with the guy. And the guy in charge. And so it's KPAM radio, KPAMM radio. And so I'm doing my research, spent about an hour or two looking up Portland fun facts. So I thought I could say something to the effect of, so you guys are big Clyde Drexler fans or something, right? And I'm looking, and I keep finding the world's largest nude bicycle ride. And I thought, surely not. So I go to YouTube, and there it is. And I'm going, get thousands of people all over the world. And so that's why we have to go through the permit process, is to prevent that kind of hoo-ha from happening, right?
Right.
Every time I've tried to get a permit for that, they shut me down. Every single time, year after year. My wife shuts me down. You shut me down. Okay. So let's get now, Luke, our next guest here. This is a friend of yours, I believe.
Right.
Tell us about our next guest, Zach. Who is this guy?
So Zach is a guy that I've known for probably about 9 or 10 years now. He owns Spoke House Bicycle down the street from us in the Rose District.
So you're the hubgym.com, and he's spokehouse.com.
Correct.
Did you like this guy? Is he also a rebel rouser? Is he in favor of the nude bike rides? Is that why we have him on the show?
No, Zach is a very pleasant person, and so I think you guys will enjoy him.
Okay, so let's get Zach up on the mic here real quick here. And we're going to go back to Amber for the final tough question from we're trying to get Amber, the thing is, the vast majority of reasonable people turn out to be women. That's just what I found. That's this research I've done here. What other questions would you have from a mom perspective? Because there's got to be, there's ladies out there who are thinking about moving to Broken Arrow. Maybe they have questions about the schools. I know the school district is separate from the city, but do you have any other questions about the quality of the schools in Broken Arrow or the direction of the Broken Arrow in the future? Just so that, on behalf of the women out there listening that probably have more intelligent questions than what I could possibly conjure up.
Yeah. Well, first question, did you raise your children here?
Yes, I did.
So then, speaking as a father running for mayor of this city, give us the opportunity to hear why should we vote for you?
Well, as a father, it's really there's just so many things that we do in our community for our kids, and it's really important. We have we're very we have really great faith institutions here in Broken Arrow, which really is my basis on very important in raising your children that way. The school systems are really great. We have 3 different school systems in Broken Arrow, which main one is Broken Arrow Public Schools. We have Union School District, and then we have some Bixby School, part of our city is Bixby School District. So we have 3 excellent school systems. What the Broken Arrow school system, they have a program now that my son wasn't able to benefit from, but they have a program now that they have a good program where I'm not even sure what the name of it is, where they start kids in different types of trades and whatever they want to do. But they also have concurrent enrollment with NSU where kids can actually have their associate's degree when they graduate from high school, or they can also...
Do they call that a post-secondary program here, or do you know?
Well, that would be after they got out of... The secondary program is public schools. It's the K through 12 program. Or the higher ed program.
The reason why I mentioned that is because I grew up in Minnesota, and when in Minnesota, if you're a junior, at least that's the case in 1999, 98, they announced to the students at the time, if we were sophomores, I think it was, if we wanted to go ahead and take a full class load and do this or that, we could graduate as sophomores or juniors, and then we could go to college our senior year of high school and basically enroll. And when it would have been our freshman year, we'd be sophomores. And so I elected to do that, and I like that program a lot. Does it kind of work that way?
Similar program. They are also they graduate from high school at the same time they get their associate's degree. So
wow.
They have a 2-year program. So then as a parent, you only have to pay for 2 years of college to get a bachelor's.
So that's a move.
But they also have a program with Tulsa Tech that they work with, and they have children or kids that are they actually can start in their freshman year now in college and in this program, Career Tech program, so they can learn a trade. So they can work in construction, they can work as mechanics, they can work at machinist, whatever they want to do, they can learn that trade and get their certificate. So when they graduate, and I just in May was at Tulsa Tech, and somebody worked for Baker Oil Tools. He was just graduating from high school, and he'd already worked for Baker Oil Tools for a year.
Cool.
And he won a state manufacturing championship, was making over $60,000 a year at 18 years old when he graduated from high school. So there's really a lot of good programs, a lot of opportunities for your children. But I think that the way that people participate here, and that's something our police chief has said quite often, is that it's not that we have better police officers than everyone else. The fact is that we have citizens that will get involved. So when we have a problem, they get involved and they help and they testify. They do the things that they're supposed to do. And so we have a community that it's like a small town. Although it's a mid-sized city, but it's like a small town atmosphere, and that's really great when you're raising a family.
When the kids are going to this school to pick up these tech skills, would you classify smoking meat as one of the valued tech skills they teach? Is that something you're pushing
that's
through?
That's probably nothing that they teach. It's a good skill that you can learn, but it's nothing that they teach.
Okay, this just in. All right, so Zach, you are the founder of Spokehouse.com. Can you share with the listeners, what is Spokehouse.com?
Well, Spokehouse is my bike shop, so it's Spokehouse Bicycles, and we thought that was a little long for the URL, so we just did Spokehouse.com. We haven't quite gotten our e-com store set up just yet, but that's coming.
And where are you located for the folks out there that maybe want some sort of they're trying to picture in their mind. Where are you located?
I'm located at 224 South Main Street in Broken Arrow, and I also have a store in Tulsa, but we don't need to talk about that one.
So you're right in the thick of the downtown development.
Yep.
How long have you been there?
I've been there since 2012.
2012. Oh, really? So you were there right after Luke moved in.
Yeah, I was one of the first people in there. Yep.
Was it pretty rough there for a while before the development occurred? Was it rough?
Yes, it was. Actually, my wife was born and raised in Broken Arrow, and she was like, "You're crazy. What are you doing? Like, this is never going to work."
Who pitched you? Did Mayor Craig come and hard pitch you on this idea, or what inspired you to lose a track of reality and to open up a business in downtown tumbleweed Broken Arrow?
It was actually one of his sons who did that.
His son did?
I rode bikes with him.
Is this real?
Yeah, this is real. And he's like, "Hey, there's some really good stuff happening in Broken Arrow. I encourage you to do this." And I went and looked at some spots. I couldn't find anything. I actually moved in on Lynn Lane initially.
Really?
And I was just waiting for a spot to open up on Main Street. And I finally saw one with a sign in the window for sale. So I was like, well, I can't really buy a building yet. I've only had my business operating for 1 year now.
Yeah.
So I worked out a contract for all my rent payments to go for a down payment on my loan with her.
That is awesome. So you, I think Luke went as far as to say that his business model, that the hubgym.com, could not exist without the revitalized downtown. Do you agree that your business would not do well without the revitalized downtown, or are you doing okay with or without it?
No, 100%. That Rose District it brings people in. There's wonderful restaurants to eat at. People walk by and they see my store. They walk in while they're waiting for a table. And we're actually adding a cafe and bar into the bike shop mix too.
Are you really?
Yes, we are.
Hey, and I don't know if you know about this at all, but are you familiar with the downtown Denver bike rides? Have you seen this? The downtown Denver bike rides?
No, but I'm excited to look it up.
I'm going to try to pull up a clip. And Mayor, this is not going to be approved by your committee, I guarantee. Nor am I endorsing this. I'm just speaking of it because it's true. In downtown Denver, my wife and I were downtown to go eat with my partner with OxyFresh, the guy. We partnered together with Elephant in the Room, and I help him with OxyFresh, Jonathan Barnett. We're downtown Denver. He's an Oral Roberts University guy, a Victory Christian Center guy. And we're having dinner at the Four Seasons downtown Denver. And we hear this haunting, loud noise. It sounds like an army of people are intoxicated and on bicycles. And it's a sound. It's hard to describe. And I'll see if I can find the sound clip. But I'm thinking to myself, it sounds like a large group of people are on bicycles. And John says, "Oh yeah, this is what they do downtown Denver." I said, "Who's they?" He goes, "Thousands of them." So apparently they meet up during a weeknight and they get on bikes. And I'm not kidding. I'll find a clip of this so I can prove this in a minute. But there are hundreds of people, potentially thousands, or all and they do this weekly. And they all go to these local, it's like a pub crawl. So you get on your bike, and I guess you go to the local bars, and they give you a discount if you're somehow part of this parade of people. And people dress up like Darth Vader and Yoda and Cobra Commander and whatever Marvel comics. It's the craziest thing ever. Do you do that? Are you one of those rebel rousers? Are you doing that kind of crazy stuff down there at your bike shop?
We do it in Tulsa, but we have not yet brought it to Broken Arrow. And with the new bike path, we might do it, but they're kind of close together on Main Street there, so we'd just be like riding about 20 feet, 30 feet.
What's the vision for your bar you're building?
Well, I'm actually leasing the space out because I know that I'm not good at in the restaurant business. So if you know you're not good at something, you don't want me to cook for you. Trust me. So I'm not going to do it. But I have a buddy. He has a business in downtown Tulsa called Chimera Cafe. And I'm partnering with him, and he's doing it over there. It's going to be vegetarian and vegan food, and it's going to have a full bar, mixed drinks, beer, all that stuff.
What do you think about how Broken Arrow would be today if Mayor Craig, because you know that he's been involved for 8 years, and the growth essentially started in 2012. So what would Broken Arrow be like, you think, if he wasn't in office, or maybe it would be successful without him being here? I don't know. I mean, what's your thought on objectively as a citizen out here in Broken Arrow?
Well, he's thinking in the future progressively to where all the other cities are doing across the U.S. So he's really he's trying to keep us up in front of all those other cities. He goes somewhere, he sees something cool, he tries to apply it here in Broken Arrow. So he's really just making all the good things that he sees work around the U.S. and even in Europe too, and just bringing them here to the States. I mean, the bike paths, that's a huge thing that we finally have a bike path on Main Street, and it's going to be connected to the rest of the trail system eventually.
This is the kind of event, Mayor Craig Thurmond, that you would never approve of, but I'm going to cue it up here, Kendall. I'm going to cue up I got the audio, I got the video right here. This is a rolling bicycle parade, party rides through the night. This is in downtown Denver. Let me cue it up here. And these people, look at this, thousands of people. I don't know what kind of permit you'd have to get for this. What kind of permit do you need to get for rolling intoxication? Is that a permit that you issue, Mayor? Is that something that you typically issue, or
I'm
no?
not sure how that would work, but I think if organically you started getting people to do this, it would just happen.
It's the craziest thing ever. It is just a wild ride. So what's the vision for your bicycle business? Tell us about the vision for the business, and what kind of bikes do you sell?
Well, we carry Scott bicycles and Jamis bicycles. Those are the two main brands, and we have like Haro BMX as well.
What are the two brands you carry?
Scott and Jamis.
And why are those two brands the brands that you have decided to carry?
They're kind of the smaller. Well, Scott isn't a small brand at all, but Jamis is a U.S. brand. It's based out of New Jersey. I really like the company. You get a whole lot of bicycle for your money. And Jamis bikes, Scott bicycles, they just really have some of the lightest weight bikes that are made.
So you have been, you've been paying your tax dollars. You've been running this business. So I think you've earned the right to hop on the mic and to ask the mayor any question you want to ask. There's no out of bounds. So this is it's like those post-game interviews where they have to ask the Super Bowl players somewhat safe questions. They're kind of, you can ask safe questions, tough questions, rough questions. But I know there's a lot of business owners listening to this right now, watching this, and they've never got a chance to sit down with their mayor. So you have the floor, my friend. What question would you like to ask, or what questions would you like to ask Mayor Craig Thurmond?
I would like to ask, let's see, how do you manage your time so well when you have a small business and you're working for free as the mayor? Do you schedule by day, week by week?
Are you into cloning? I mean, what's the deal?
Well, it's sometimes it does get kind of tough. I do a planner, and on Sunday night I sit down and schedule the whole week out, and then every night I schedule out the next day, add things that happen. So that's really how I schedule time, and I put in, of course, on my phone, I put on my calendar every event, and the city sends me anything they need me to go to, and I just try to work around that. And it creates a lot of, as you know, as a small business owner, it creates a lot of evenings that you're working, even though you'd like not to be. But it's just part of having a business, and also the amount of time that I have to spend with the city, which is it's 10 to 20 hours a week that we do city stuff. So it really it's just really just being very, very intentional on how you plan your day out every day.
What do the first 4 hours of your day look like? I mean, what time are you getting up every day? What does that typically look like for you?
Well, it just depends. I mean, my first phone calls usually around 7:30 in the morning, and it's a combination of work and if there's some city issue, it just is. It's hard to plan. Even planning this show out that we have every Monday, my day changes every single day, so I never really know what I'm going to come upon. So my first 4 hours is usually I return all my phone calls, emails, and then I will drive to all my job sites. But I never know what the city has for me. Tomorrow I had a ribbon cutting I had to go to today for a business. Can
you share what business it is?
It's called B Homes. It was an assisted living, a little small assisted living. They have 20 units in there.
Cool.
So there's always something like that I try to work those in when I can. Sometimes I can't. Then there's a lot of there wasn't as many city. I did it this afternoon. Met with a homeowner who had a problem with the detention pond, and so I talked with the city about that, and they're going to see what we can do to help that person out. So there's a lot of you just never know what your day is going to be. Tomorrow I have an INCOG board meeting where
What is INCOG?
INCOG is the Indian Nations Council of Governments, our metropolitan planning organization for our community, for our area. And I'm on that board, and so we have a board meeting once a month. So tomorrow's that. And then tomorrow night we have city council, and I have a I'm doing city council highlights. We do a video of the highlights of what we're going to pass in the city council, what we think will pass, and then we have to edit those out if they don't pass. But I'll do that, and I'll also have a meeting with the city manager tomorrow. There's a lot of different things that every day is different.
Now, I want to ask you about your vision for the city, because I want to make sure I ask you that today. I want to hear about your vision for the next few years here, if you were to get reelected. And I also want to provide an opportunity here for Zach to ask any final questions that he has. But first, I want to go back to my vision for the city, and I'm not mayor. This is if you don't reelect Mayor Craig, I'm the backup plan. And you don't want that to happen. But this is downtown Denver. Kendall, if you can look at this. This is downtown Denver. And this. I wanted to get the audio because I was trying to find the right. This is what it sounded like. Let me cue it up here. It's just unbelievable. Here we go. Let me watch this. Here we go. Oh yeah. And this is what it sounds like when thousands of people. And it just starts off slow, and then just Luke, you would love this. This says Luke all over it. Look at Luke. This is you. This is your people. This is my people. This is what's going to happen if you don't reelect Mayor Craig. It's going to be a bunch of bicycle pirates running around. Look at that. Okay, and you might not want you might not want that for your city. So Mayor Craig, I want to ask you. I've already threatened the listeners. I said, listen, if you don't reelect Mayor Craig, anything could happen. I mean, I'm the backup plan. This could happen to the city. What's your vision for Broken Arrow? What's your vision for the next 4 years if we decide to move our bodies over to a place where we have to vote and take the 5 to 12 minutes needed to vote? If we're willing to make that kind of sacrifice, if we're not willing to make that kind of sacrifice and we just are apathetic and we go, yeah, things are remarkably different now than they used to be 8 years ago, but I don't have time to vote. Tell us what's your vision for the city?
Well, I think we have to continue what we've done and continue looking forward. You've got to, as I said, if you don't continue to look forward and try to be forward thinking in what you're doing, you're just moving backwards. So you have to continue to look forward. I think the next big thing we're going to do, we're going to do more in the Rose District, and we've got more plans for the Rose District, which is very important. We're trying to develop South Broken Arrow. We've got plans. We've got some restaurants and things happening, a hospital happening in South Broken Arrow, certain things that are happening that they've worked on. We'll continue to try to bring more jobs here because that's really what keeps us going is jobs. It's very important that we continue to work on that and we don't ever let that go and try to create more and more jobs in our community. Along with the Innovation District is a big thing that I'm hoping.
Innovation District.
Innovation District.
Got it.
It's something that is happening across the country. There's several innovation districts across the country. This is the future of what cities are going to do is these innovation districts where you have a chance, and we're hoping to do a research and development type innovation district that people can research and develop their companies, and students can be interns in those, and they can find a job here without having to go to Kansas City or Dallas or somewhere else to live.
So you're trying to make Broken Arrow a place where our kids can stay here, get jobs here if they want to, tech businesses. That's part of your future. You're also saying we're developing downtown Broken Arrow more.
Right.
Hospitals come into Broken Arrow. Okay. And I want to, Zach, you have the floor. Any final questions that you have for Mayor or comments you'd like to share about the direction of the city? Because, again, you're in the thick of it. Some people are on the peripheral. Some people live on the outskirts of Broken Arrow. They don't see maybe the changes firsthand like you do. What questions or comments do you have for Mayor Craig?
Well, I know that I know he's a really good person because I know him personally. I've ridden a bike with him even. So
really,
but how did you get there? How did you get to be such a good guy and to be what's your background? Give us a quick background.
Is it Melaleuca? Was it Melaleuca? Amway, Melaleuca? What's your secret?
No.
Okay, sorry.
No, I was raised. My father was pretty much raised our whole family as having a servant's attitude of being a servant. And my family came to the United States in 1699 in Jamestown, and we've been involved and served in almost every war since then. My father served in World War II, was at Normandy on D-Day in the Navy. I served in the Marine Corps during the Vietnam War, and my son just recently was in Afghanistan. My youngest son, Gary, was in Afghanistan in the Army as a combat medic. And I think just being we were raised to be servants. and I think it's very important what we do and how we serve our community. And I am the only one in my family who's had this opportunity. And as I said, I got elected in 2001 to the city council and was the vice mayor for 7 years and the mayor the last 8. And we've really that's really kind of how we got here. I had an adopted daughter who was shot in the head, and that's how I first got involved in city government. I went and lobbied for a bill over in Oklahoma City that we don't have an attempted murder law in Oklahoma. We still don't. And I went and lobbied for a bill that said that if you discharge a firearm commission of a felony, you get 10 years mandatory. Her shooter.
If you discharge a firearm,
commission of a felony, you get 10 years mandatory.
Commission of a felony?
A commission of a felony.
What does that mean?
Her shooter was charged with assault with a dangerous weapon.
Got it.
And he got 2 years in prison for that.
2 years.
2 years. And so that's a felony. You assault someone, that's a felony. You do an armed robbery, that's a felony.
It might be too much to ask, but I want to know, what were the circumstances that led up to that shooting? I think somebody wants to know.
Well, I think that, at that time she was hanging out with some people that really weren't the best people, I believe. Yep. And they got in an argument, and the guy shot her. Man. In her front yard here in Broken Arrow. And so that's when I really thought that we need to make a difference. We need to really focus on public safety, and we really have focused on public safety. So that's how I got involved. I knew I could make a difference because I got a law change that you really can fight City Hall. You really can get something done. So you just have to have that passion to be able to make a difference, and I did have that, and we were able to do it.
Mayor Craig, I appreciate you so much for being here, and I also appreciate you for being the change that you wanted to see. Mm-hmm. It's so easy to become bitter and not try to make the world better. It's so easy to go. And again, I have examples in my life of things that irritated me, stupid things. Like I thought, wedding entertainment was terrible, so I thought I'd make it better. And I feel kind of like a little boy with little boy dumb problems I've solved when I hear that story, because you went through an adversity where a lot of people might, justifiably so, put their head in the sand and just sort of, Broken Arrow isn't the way it should be. But you decided to be that change. I appreciate you serving. And I'm going to vote on this next. I'm going to vote to see if we can, if I can, or I'll see if I can pass a bill to double your salary.
Of course, twice of nothing, still nothing.
Well, that's just you doing math there. But I appreciate you so much. And Zach, I appreciate you for having a business in downtown Broken Arrow, creating jobs and creating a neat environment. Luke Owens, the Hub Gym, I appreciate you for doing the same. Amber and Charles, I appreciate you guys for joining us here in the Man Cave. And Devin, I appreciate you for making the technology always work. Because if not, we'd end up doing a show with just me and a cowbell and no mic, and it could just get awkward. So we like to end each and every show with a boom. And so now, without any further ado, if you're all ready, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.